James writes in chapter 1, verses 2 through 4, "My brethren, count it all joy when you fall into various trials, knowing that the testing of your faith produces patience. So let patience have its perfect work, that you may be perfect and complete, lacking nothing." Hi, I'm Abeelen. I'm the pastor of Morning Star Christian Chapel in Whittier, California, and this is your KWAVE Devotion of the Week. I know that for most of you, maybe James is your favorite book. I know it is one of mine, and I think it's because he hits me in all the right places. James was Jesus' half-brother. He was the first pastor that the church really ever saw. He became the pastor in Jerusalem over the Jewish believers, and in fact, he stayed in that position until Stephen was murdered, and as a result, the church was scattered. So James writes a letter to Jewish believers on the run for their faith. He writes to them because he's interested that their faith in the Lord might be real. He writes in maybe 44 AD or something. It's certainly the first New Testament book that's in print and in circulation. And so it is a book that hits home. James was very abrupt. He was very, I won't say callous, but I'll say he didn't give you much slack. He was very interested in you doing well, that your faith would be genuine, and especially as the saints began to run for their lives and bring the gospel into various territories around Jerusalem. So I guess it's kind of like a diamond. You know, you can test a diamond if you know nothing about them by putting them in water. In water, diamonds that are real, they sparkle. Fake ones do not. So the in the water test is pretty good for all of us that are amateurs and don't know anything about diamonds. What James writes to us in the opening chapter is what they were going through. He addresses first and foremost their attitudes towards the trials that they were facing. And he says to them, count it all joy. Now it's written as an imperative, but I think it's because none of us really count anything of a trial joyful. We'd rather have an easy life. But yet, that's not the way life works. And now facing persecution, sometimes death, imprisonment, and just fear, James says to them, what is your attitude towards trials as a believer? And he orders them to count it all joy, to make sure that their outlook towards what they are going through is different than the world around them. And he explains why, because he says, we know that the testing of our faith works patience. God is interested in doing a work in our lives. The word to know, gnosko, means I've learned by experience that God can be trusted. And so their view of trials should be different than the world's view. So should ours. Our valuing should affect our evaluation. If we're interested in comfort, trials are going to be a difficulty. If we're interested in temporal gain but not eternal life and spiritual growth, we might be bothered by everything that comes our way. But if we're convinced that God works in us, he doesn't waste trials, he doesn't put pressure upon us, he's not a mad scientist trying to see what'll work. No, he knows where to push and what to work out and what we need. And so the testing of our faith will have a perfect work in us. So James says to his people, to the saints on the run, hey, count it all joy. Consider it a privilege. God is at work in your life. He's doing this for a purpose. He doesn't waste your tears. He knows what you're going through. He understands what you're facing. So let God have his way, which is the third part of that verse. Let patience have its perfect work so that you can turn out to be perfect and complete, lacking nothing. You see, God's purposes in allowing you to go through what you're going through is with an eye towards you becoming a complete kind of a strong believer. So even the word complete there is the word for hologram. It means in every direction, your life is going to be far better than it has ever been because the Lord is interested in your strength and in your walk with him. So go read that little chapter there in James chapter 1. May the Lord begin to help you to do these three things: to count it all joy, to understand and know that his purposes are good, and to then let God have his perfect work so that you can turn out just the way he wants you to be. Don't complain, submit. God is doing something special in your life. Hi, I'm Pastor Abeelen from Morning Star Christian Chapel in Whittier, and this has been your KWAVE Devotion of the Week.